In this episode, we use our first resource well pressurizer to get our hands on nitrogen gas, produce our first fused modular frames, reach the second to last milestone of Tier 8, and much more. Yo! Hello everybody! Welcome back to Prone to Play in my Let's Play series of Satisfactory. In the last episode we had a lot of progression for reaching some milestones, doing a bunch of analytics in the MAM, and today we want to continue with our progression in order to be as prepared as possible for the time when Update 8 goes live. Because Coffee Stain Studios recently said in one of their teasers on YouTube that it will be going live around June, so there's not a lot of time left and I can't really wait. But at the same time, I want to have as much unlocked on the save file as possible when Update 8 goes live, so that we can start our world exploration tour ASAP, and then finally I will be able to start a very big project that I'm eagerly waiting for. But before we go on with our progression, I want to give you some updates about what happened in between episodes. And the first thing that I set up is I created a little bypass right over here, and I set up a little turbo fuel, packaged turbo fuel streamline. Half of the output of the first plastic refinery from down under gets lifted up, converted into empty canisters, and then gets filled with turbo fuel, so that we have packaged turbo fuel as an output. And also took some of it out just now, because we need this for the research in the MAM for one of the two last remaining researches. And as soon as Update 8 goes live, we will also be able to use this for our jetpack as an increased effectiveness compared to the normal fuel, so I decided to set this up as preparation. And the second thing that I wanted to talk about here is thank you very much again for all the comments, for all the subs and the nice feedback. I really appreciated all the nice words from all of you, and yeah, really thank you very much. And also there were lots of very helpful advices, hints, tips about this game, because yeah, I'm eager to learn as much as possible still. I have still lots to learn. And one of the comments was right after I had to replace all these fuel generators, because there was some fuel in the generators not running out, and I wanted to change it to turbo fuel, so I deleted all of these generators and set them up new. So I thought this was the only solution to get rid of the remaining fuel. But then John commented on episode 22, where I did this, that you are able to throw fuel in the fuel generators away. And I didn't believe him, so I tested it. And I couldn't believe it. Dude, what? You are actually able to take fluids and drag them into the trash bin. Shoutouts to John for sharing this knowledge. I will always remember this in the future and for all eternity, in case I have to set up fuel generators again. But this really blew my mind, because this would have saved a lot of work for me if I knew this earlier. But still, thank you very much for giving this advice for the future. Alright, so much for our oil plant. For the next update I have to go to the central storage again, so I'll meet you there. Alright, back at the central storage. It's nighttime at the moment, but it doesn't matter because we are not going to build just yet. And when we start building again, it will be daytime. But I also realized that I owe you the production line for our aluminum factory. And I prepared this in between episodes just to show you what's happening at our latest setup in detail. So here you can see everything that's happening at the Coal Coast aluminum factory. Basically all the different inputs are coming either from miners in the surrounding area or from already existing factories, for example the silica, we set up very, very early in this game, and the miners for copper and coal are just at the corner, and everything gets produced further and further until eventually we have an output of 60 aluminum casings and 19 alkyd sheets. So yeah, just so you know what's happening there in case you want to take this away for yourself. The next thing is, I was wondering what to do next in the last episode, in the end, and I decided to build this little extension for our central storage. And this is actually kind of a side quest, let's call it that way, because I decided that I don't want to go after the project parts actively, or at least mainly, but instead I set up a little room, experimented again with some cosmetics. These are just walls turned sideways, with originally being road barriers or construction barriers, whatever they are called, and then getting replaced by basic walls, just like this. And then I blueprinted a whole row of them and put them one after another in order to create this style of wall. I think I saw this at Fluxo, a really awesome content creator creating amazing buildings, really amazing aesthetics, and I think I will take a lot of inspiration from him in the future for bigger buildings. So just so you know where this is coming from. And here we have basically some setups which helps us reaching the project parts. For example, here we are taking all the excessive copper sheets and plastic and produce some additional circuit boards. Right over here we have the manufacturers set up for supercomputers. And here I'm storing everything that's necessary for project parts and give myself a little overview. For example, here we can collect everything for the, what's it called again? Damn it. Assembly Director System, excuse me, which takes adaptive control units and supercomputers, and I can store everything that's getting produced anyways. For example, we need 60,000 automated wiring and we produce 3 per minute, so not getting close to this number anytime soon. I think we have around 2,000 heavy modular frames, but I will come to this part especially very soon. We have a bunch of plastic available, almost getting the necessary amount of AI limiters for the supercomputers, have all the AI limiters already, since we produce 12 per minute in one of the factories. And yeah, they're getting simply synced at the moment, so this is why I decided to take all the excess items and slowly but steady feed them in manually. Same on the other side. Here I'm saying the word again. Here I focused on the magnetic field generator, which takes versatile frameworks, electromagnetic control rods and batteries. These we have not taken care of yet, but we will come to that as well in the future. And the versatile frameworks were also backed up completely in the central storage. We are creating 5 per minute in our steel factory, and I'm not sure if I will let this run until we reach the 10,000 eventually, or if I will set up a separate production line for this, a temporary one, because we will very soon change our steel factory and produce heavy modular frames over there, because currently we are producing 0.8 per minute in our manufacturer room under the central storage, right over here. But this is not enough to take our cover our needs in the future. We will need way more, and this is why I decided to adjust the steel factory accordingly. We will need loads of heavy modular frames in the future, trust me. But we will not need any more versatile frameworks in the future once we reach these 10,000 items produced, as long as Coffee Stand Studios does not decide to change this in the future, because yeah, if they are adding more phases, more milestones or whatever, these might be necessary again in the future, but as of now, these are the last 10,000 that we need, so there will be no sense to let this run in the background, getting produced further. So we will tear this down very, very soon and instead set up a heavy modular frame factory over there. But first, I want to take care of used modular frames, especially because we will need these for the next milestone. And as just mentioned, I want to reach all the milestones before Update 8 goes live, at least if possible. I don't want to rush too much, but it's just the next logical step. And in my opinion, it's not that difficult as well, because we have the supercomputers currently available, we have the steel pipes, of course, and then we would just need 50 modular frames in order to unlock the next miner mark, turbo motors, and the next project part as well. And then we just need some more fused modular frames, cooling systems, electromagnetic control rods, and then turbo motors, which we will have yet to unlock. So then we will have all the parts available in this game, and for both of these items we need to dip into nitrogen gas, which is conveniently available in the blue crater as well. So we will set up a factory there today in order to produce partially manually but also partially automated fused modular frames and then cooling systems as well. So yeah, this is basically the plan for today. So let me prepare everything for that, and then I will meet you there. Alright, we're back again, and I just realized I could have started in the central storage and then come back here for the turbo fuel update and so on, but yeah, it is what it is. Alright, let's see. I prepared everything, at least I hope that I thought about everything, and now let's see where we have to go in order to get our hands on some nitrogen gas. And the closest one is actually just 500 meters in this way. But I also just realized, because I checked beforehand in order to double check where to go, that we have plenty of nitrogen gas in the surrounding area. And while scanning you can also see what level of purity the nodes have. For example, this one would be pure nitrogen gas only, but this one is the closest and more than sufficient for our current needs. Oh, I guess this is a leftover from my power slug hunting. By the way, Enel found another purple slug and then again an additional yellow slug. So yeah, he's doing a great job. And also I got the comment that I could hunt down a lot of lizard doggos and yeah, basically use them for harvesting and farming power slugs. And while that's a good idea if we need more or if we have a bigger demand in the future, I do not have it right now, so I don't want to roam through the whole map in order to gather them. So yeah, thank you for the advice, but currently no need from my side for this. Where is the gas again? Alright, in this direction. And there we have it already. A little bit on the steeper side of the surface, but I think we can make this work. And how these resource wells work is basically... let's see, can we put down maybe some foundations on this? Oh no, I have to look out for this one definitely, otherwise it would drive me crazy. I'm actually curious, can you place a pressurizer? On a ramp, seems like you can. Oh, it's bigger than I anticipated. Let's place it and see what it looks like.
Comply.
Let me look for this artifact. It will drive me crazy in a minute, so yeah, I don't want to have this voice interrupting all the time.
Relay message. Hello, this is Patrol Figure. I have taken ill and need your help to find a cure. Doctors say that the only remedy is alien artifacts.
Alright, I hope that was it. Back to work. And let's put down some, maybe like this. Yes. We will take care about further cosmetics later. But this is basically our pressurizer. It will take power, so I have to drag a power line over here in the future. But then this will basically put pressure on this resource well. And then we put down some well extractors on each node here on these sides. And there we can connect pipelines in order to get the nitrogen gas on our hands. And it seems like I have to connect the power first before I can put down the extractors. So let me get some power lines over here really quick. Alright, this is the current status of the platform where the pressurizer is placed. And initially I was thinking back and forth about how we can make a building out of this. Maybe build vertical, do a cylindrical shaped building, like a round shaped building, and put blenders and everything that can produce or convert nitrogen gas in our necessary parts above. But this place is simply too narrow in order to properly set up something nice. At least I cannot manage to do this right here, right now. Everything is sort of clipping into this tree, or yeah, has too sharp turns, edges, whatever. So instead of building something here, I also solve the problem of always having to go around here to the nitrogen gas, and instead we will lead the nitrogen gas via a pipeline to our oil platform and build a platform underneath the train station, because there's plenty of open space right above the water level left. So we can use simply the already existing infrastructure there, and we will build a little simple platform, lead the nitrogen gas over there. We have power supply, we have everything necessary for this already over there, so why not just make use of that? And yeah, this is the idea. The only thing that I have to think about is how to set up the pipeline in some cosmetic way, so that it's not simply yeah, crawling along the environment and maybe has some advanced cosmetics structure to it. But this is the plan, and for now I already dragged the power supply to here as well, and also took care of the gas plants, because I don't want to bother about this as well. So let's simply connect the pressurizer to power. And this is what it does. It basically pulls up the iron bars, stamps them into the underground, and by this creating pressure so that we can extract the gas from the resource well. And now, because of it being pressured, as soon as we have the necessary materials, we can build some well extractors. And since we want to go down here, maybe let's face them in this direction. Three, I think yeah. This one has to go here, 4, 5, and 6. Alright. And because this node is not overclocked, the potential output is 600 meters cubed of nitrogen gas per minute. So one single pipeline of Mark II will be sufficient in order to transport everything to our train station. And if we have further demand in the future and have to overclock this, we can simply build a second pipeline in order to transport the additional nitrogen gas. But not necessary for now. So let's see. I think I will take care of the logistics on my own because, yeah, it's simple pipelines. Build a foundation underneath the train station and then I will meet you there again. Alrighty, pipeline is taken care of. In the beginning it looks a bit messy because we have to merge all the different extractors together, but all in all, in my opinion, it's clean enough. And this is the only solution that I could think of that makes a little bit of sense in order to bring the pipeline down to the oil plant in a proper way. I also replaced the power lines, so let's connect this again before we forget it. And now the power line is running alongside the pipe instead of being in the open terrain. And here I placed the frame foundations, frame floors, and then some catwalks on it. I built two next to each other, so right now we can use it as a walkway when we want to get to the pressurizer, and also check the pipelines if necessary. And if we want to increase the output of the pressurizer and the output of the nitrogen gas in the future, we can simply drag a second pipeline down here because we have enough space. Also, I didn't have enough plastic with me, so I started with a Mark I, but I have to replace it now. And now it's at least a little bit cosmetic instead of simply a pulled pipeline in the open environment. And right here it gets down, and then I hooked it up to the ceiling where the walkway under the ground floor leads all the way on the other side. And then we have a little platform over here, not too big, but there's not that much space necessary anyways. And currently the pipeline ends here with a maximum amount of 600 meters cubed of nitrogen gas. The original idea was actually to build a higher building in this narrow spot because gas, at least as long as my information is correct, I have another crate again, damn it. Gas does not need pumps in order to travel upwards. So different to liquid, you have no pumps needed in order to lift gas up and can basically let it travel upwards as much as you like. Alright, now we have the nitrogen gas available. And let's take care of some fused modular frames, because that was the goal anyways. And for that we need a blender. So let's put down our first blender. We have actually never built this in this save file before. And let's take some parts for it. So the pipe will come from here, and let's put it simply down somewhere here. Blender has two fluid inputs and two solid parts inputs, and then one fluid and one solid output, depending on what you want to build. We have to take care of heatsinks shortly as well in order to be able to build cooling systems. And for now, let's do one step at a time and build some fused modular frames. Because for the last two milestones we need 250, but let's start with the first 50. And let's build some containers as well that we can then fill with all the necessary parts. And hook up the nitrogen gas. I think I will do a junction over here so that we can split off nitrogen gas in the future if necessary. So let's do it maybe. Maybe like this. And we need power, of course. Let's drag down. Wow, you can actually hook up wall outlets to railways. Railings, excuse me. I didn't know that. Now, let's do simply this. So this should fill up with nitrogen gas now. Yes, perfect. And then we have aluminum casings. I had to leave them, or most of them, at the pressurizer because I did not have enough inventory space, but I will bring them back here ASAP. Alright, and some heavy modular frames. Let's do maybe this. This is an inverted shape. Let's do this. It's already building. But in a few seconds, we should see our first fused modular frame. And there we have it. First one built, 49 to go. And actually we'll overclock this because we have all the nitrogen gas available. Same for the aluminum casing. For the start I will have to bring them here. In the future, if necessary, we will think about a more automated solution, but for now this is more than sufficient to cover our needs. Now let me bring the remaining aluminum casings over here and let us produce some of these in the background, and then I will come back to you. And we're back at our central storage. I already waited for the first 50 fused modular frames to be produced and took them with me so that we can take care now of the second to last milestone that's currently available. Also picked up the necessary supercomputers, the steel pipes, so let's take care of leading edge production, feed everything in, and launch the pod into open space.
Milestone reached. Turbo motors can now be constructed in order to build the latest FUSED improved factory buildings, such as the Miner Mark III. A new project part enables progress to the next phase.
Yes, and with this we have the Miner Mark III available, which needs mobile miners, steel pipes, supercomputers, fused modular frames, and turbo motors. So a lot of very, very advanced parts. And for the other stuff, the turbo motors, excuse me, they take cooling systems, which we have yet to take care of. But I also set up a second blender right next to the first one, where we are currently producing more fused modular frames manually. And I already prepared this a little bit, set this up with 2 industrial containers and a water extractor just for this blender, as well as a connection to the nitrogen gas. So the only thing that's left to do here is feed up some heat sinks and rubber into the containers, and then we will produce cooling systems. But before we are able to do this, we first have to do some heat sinks. And we also need radio control units, motors, we have plenty of these, and rubber. We have basically infinite of this as well. So yeah, maybe we will have to prepare some more radio control units, but we definitely have to do heat sinks, and yeah, this will be the plan for the next future, for the next episodes. And for the next project part, the thermal propulsion rocket, we need modular engines, more turbo motors, cooling systems, and again, fused modular frames. So this is, yeah, crazy high tech. And you also see that we need plenty of each part. So 2,500 modular engines, 1,000 turbo motors, 1,000 fused modular frames, and I think 3,000 cooling systems. So again, we have to worry about this in the future, maybe build this passively in the background. But yeah, we won't focus anytime soon on this, but instead focus on heat sinks, cooling systems and turbo motors in order to have the maximum output with using Miner Mark III very soon available. Now what I also want to do really quick is I prepared all the necessary parts for the second to last research in the MAM, the turbo rifle ammo. So now we can, if we feel like it, turbo rifle ammo, which has extreme capacity and fire rates at the cost of accuracy. Okay, so they're not doing that much damage, but maybe have more capacity in the magazine? I don't know. Yeah, but I just wanted to take care of this. So now the very last thing that's currently available, maybe there's more stuff coming in update 8, but currently the last thing that's that we need to unlock is the nuke obelisk, and for that we need to get our hands on uranium. Alright, so much for this. Okay, in order to decide what to do next, I did some maintenance again, filled up the containers in this side crest room again, collected all the versatile frameworks, and we are actually now missing only less than 900 versatile frameworks until we reach the 10,000. So that is why I chose to speed up the process, filled up some modular frames, some steel beams in here, and produce some versatile frameworks over here. And once this is done, we will reach the 10,000 mark, so there's no need to wait for the automated production, because this is basically the, yeah, this completes the automated production for the versatile frameworks. That's necessary, and then we will be able to clean up our current steel factory and produce something else, and yeah, organize the production over there. I also went to the oil crater really quick and collected all the fused modular frames that we produced so far. We are currently sitting at 153, so we are almost able to, we almost collected all the necessary 200 fused modular frames for the last milestone as well, but I replenished the, or restocked the containers over there with more heavy modular frames, as well as the aluminum casings, because I wanted to keep this up and running, because we need fused modular frames for other stuff as well. For example, the Miner Mark III, and also for the project parts later on. So yeah, there's no argument against keeping this running in the background. And what I also did is I went to our manufacturer room and added a little machine. I reorganized the logistics over here so that alkyd sheets as well as copper sheets are getting transported down here. And we are now producing heatsinks. In an automated way, we are below the 30 copper sheets per minute, which is the input of the central storage, so that we are still backing up a little bit. But I'm also considering to increase this output or the input of the central storage of the copper sheets so that I can overclock this further, because we will need quite some cooling systems, which requires heatsinks as well, and we are already over the 200 mark for this as well. So yeah, this is everything that has happened, and the scope for next episode is definitely now to restructure our steel factory. There's currently 360 coal available, and with our alternate recipe for the heavy modular frame, I lied, there's no alternate recipe. No, not the heavy modular frame, but for the encased industrial beam. Excuse me. We are able to reduce the necessary amount of coal per encased industrial beam if we compare it to the standard recipe, so we will change this as well, put down some more assemblers and increase our output for encased industrial beam over there, and let's see how many heavy modular frames per minute we are able to produce over there. But this is the scope for the next episode, and I think I will end it here for this one, because I have to do some cleanup in the steel factory before we can start over there. So all that's left to say is thank you very much again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, although it was kind of messy sometimes, not that well structured. I hope it's not bothering, and yeah, now we have our hands on fused modular frames and are able to continue even further in the next episodes. So if you have any feedback, any advice, anything that you want to share with me, feel free. I'm always appreciating feedback. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next episode.